right, marketers, grab your overpriced standing desks and that oat milk latte you love so much, because welcome to Notorious B2B, the only show where we treat LinkedIn drama like breaking news and expose the real B2B marketing sins.
Yeah, think of us like SNL meets TMZ, but for the people who argue about whether gated content is still a thing or not. I'm Task Bober, B2B landing page nerd and lovable troll on LinkedIn.
And I'm Tim Davidson, the guy making TikTok-style videos and cutting fruit on LinkedIn. Together, we're cutting out nonsense and roasting the most ridiculous trends in B2B marketing.
Because if we have to suffer through another 10 things getting engaged taught me about B2B sales, we're taking you all down with us.
Let's get into it. It's a B2B podcast, not that serious there, Taz.
First of all, this is what I wore this morning. Wasn't
So
just
what?
work.
Oh, you're like work from home worky? Like you
I dress up decently.
Fair enough.
Well,
fair enough. Have at it.
you wear these shirts for us for the podcast?
Oh yeah, it's actually funny. I've had probably 4 calls today.
Yeah.
Every call's been a different shirt.
Why?
Because when I have a call, I put on
Yeah.
a shirt, right? Like a proper shirt. Take it out, and then like the call's done, and I put on like, whatever I'm wearing, like a black, just plain t-shirt or like whatever it is. But then for calls, I'll put on like, this is like the podcast shirt right now.
That's
I put like a golf shirt on for a different, like a sales call. I put a little sweatshirt on for like a internal call. Like
Internal call? Who are you having internal calls with?
not like a call, but like not a sales call. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
Or a client call.
I will say though, 2 weeks in a row now, we're kind of matchy. Because we were kind of matchy last time. And then like you got little accent flowers that match my salsa dress is what my husband called it.
Oh, the salsa dress, nice. Yeah, no, that was planned for sure. My
Definitely
VA talks to your VA.
Yeah. Last
But
time we had a
big.
lot. We had a lot and then we didn't get to cover it all.
Do we talk about
What? What's that face?
the other?
What? The post that's retaliating against him? That post?
No, something different. You'll connect the dots.
Oh my gosh. First, we are going to talk about Devin Reed and the latest drama there. Devin sends his newsletter out, The Reader, usually every Saturday.
The Reader.
And here's a neutral newsletter. And his subject line was, "Congrats, now I hate you."
Yeah, okay.
So I read it. And then, I skimmed through the newsletter and it was basically talking about gated content. Now, I might be biased because I know Devin. I'm familiar with his tone of voice and, and who he is as a person and his content. So I would never look at this and have a strong emotional reaction thinking that he was saying that he hates me. But he did get some mixed feedback on this particular email, to which then he posted about it. So here's the first post. And he said, "I just got scolded by an email subscriber. My subject line triggered inbox Karen, quote unquote. And she wrote, never put ugly words in your subject line. It's like sending a fuck you to your prospects. You're being blocked and marked as spam. Terrible." And he says the subject line, "Congrats, now I hate you." Shocking. Yep, by design. Had she read the email, she'd know I hate when people gate weak, overhyped content, not people. But nuance is lost when someone's already mad. Here's the thing. I want to shake people up, make them stop, think, click, and hopefully enjoy the email. It made her feel something, which was the point. The internet has called me a lot of things, but never boring. Don't water down your content just because someone got uncomfortable. Better to make waves than get lost in the tide. Okay. So he wrote this and the comments bag was kind of mixed, as you would imagine, right? So you kind of have one half of the camp. Oh, he actually put numbers in there too. So you have one half of the camp, which including our buddy Liam, who's always on LinkedIn posting and usually is kind of in the same circles. I don't know if they talk or whatever. But so Liam says there's a lot to unpack in the statement. It made her feel something, which was the point. There's a real slippery slope. Provocation for provocation's sake means some portion of the audience will likely feel negative things, and to put the blame on them for it feels mean. Shocking by design means this was like a likely outcome, and you can't know what this person has going on in their life that this kind of subject line could trigger. To publicly slam her where she is likely to see this feels completely unnecessary. To which Devin was like, dude, I didn't name her. publicly slam without naming her. Come on, Liam. And you and I have talked about this. We've talked about the public teardowns multiple times, and we're like, okay, if you want to call someone out, that's okay. Don't name them, or, completely de-anonymize it, or do something where you can talk about the subject, but not necessarily calling out the person.
To be fair,
yes,
he could have probably been a little bit more broad. Like it did seem like he was calling out one person.
Yeah, from that one.
He could have said like, I got bad feedback from people instead of her. Like it does seem like it's very specific, but he didn't call out the person.
But he didn't call out the person. I mean, I've done posts where I've been very specific about what I heard.
And that's probably like, he probably did want them to see it. I probably wouldn't, but he probably did.
Okay, thanks. And so there's a lot of people in here who are supporting Devin and saying, hey, yeah, that seems like a grave overreaction. Casey Jenkins, who is the SVP marketing at Sendosa, who I love and respect, she said, I would have opened it. And the interesting part about this and why I celebrated her comment specifically is a while ago, there's this other creator called John Harrison. He's not really like B2B space. He's kind of one of the LinkedIn content creators. So maybe that's why people don't know him or know him in our circles. But John Harrison, let's find him here. He's kind of like this copywriting guy.
Is he one of the carousel bros?
Yes, I think might be.
Carousel bros.
Well, I don't know if he's like carousel, like what you're talking.
Those people that they do the carousels every single time. It's a PDF carousel every single.
Oh no, he's not.
Here's how to create carousel.
He's not every single time. Obviously, he hasn't posted in 10 months, which is like kind of insane.
I got something going on.
He went like every day. He was one of the people when I first started writing on LinkedIn, like I would talk to him and like comment on his posts and stuff. And then I have had one-on-one conversations with him. But anyway, so this guy, John Harrison, he's a copywriter. He actually started a SaaS business too. And I don't see that on here anymore. Oh yeah. Like, where is it? It must have dissolved.
Copywriter.io?
No, there was another. It was like not Pendo.
Oh, Copy.ai?
Something. No, isn't that, shut up. No. Anyway, but he put out an email a while ago and his subject line was something about, open this. It's not a dick pic, I promise, or something like that. And
that's worse than Devin's, by the way.
Yes, 100%. So people who got that were just disgusted. And Casey wrote a whole post about how it's okay to try to get emotion out of someone. This is someone who I respect and whose newsletters I've read on a regular basis because he has a lot of good stuff to share. But to say, I don't want an email landing in my inbox that's saying dick pic or not, don't worry, it's not a dick pic. And so she had talked about that. So when I saw her comment that said, I would have opened it, I'm like, okay, like Casey also doesn't think they're the same. But now so many people, or there were a couple of people who compared him to John Harrison's email. Ooh. Yeah, which was really interesting. But the most notable one was a gentleman in here. Yeah, Chris.
Because he did a post about it, right?
Yes. So Chris Bogue, I don't know if it could be Bogue, like Vogue.
It's Bogue. He's French.
This is our thing. We just completely try to mispronounce names. Anyway.
He's from Florida, by the way. He's not in French at all.
Oh, well, you can still be French in Florida. Everyone in this country
I don't know about
are
that.
Immigrants.
I don't know that's true. Not in Florida.
Not in Florida?
Miami.
All right. So Chris Bogue had left a comment on Devin's post and then decided to double down and use the situation to then make his own video about it. And this is what he said. For people who are not watching and just listening, this is what he said. Devin Reed and I have been having a friendly debate about the subject line, "Congrats, now I hate you." It made one of his subscribers very upset, so he dubbed her, quote, "Inbox Karen." His post got hundreds of likes and comments from people piling on to insult her, but I empathize with her. In my opinion, it's really jarring to receive an email that says, "I hate you," even if it's just a misdirect to a longer, more nuanced point. Trust me, I've offended a lot of audiences over the years. So when a fan tells me something I wrote made her feel disrespected, I have to pause and ask myself, was that the reaction I wanted? What do you say, LinkedIn? I love Devin's content and have been a fan for years. I've just been thinking a lot lately about controversial hooks and how they affect audiences. And then he posts this. How long is this video?
Oh, it's a minute. Oh,
it's
4 minutes, 30 seconds.
4 minutes and 36 seconds. Do you think it's worth it for us to play the whole thing on here? No shot. Okay.
Well, retention will go.
Yes. We will link to this post in the show notes so you can go watch it if you want and watch the full minute. But the TLDR of this post is the video even. It was funny because I did get some feedback from a few other people on this post in the DMs, and they were like, it seems like he's actually not really sure what side he's picking, because he's like, I love Devin's content. I get the nuance, but you're all piling on. But I like it, but I don't like it. And so it just seems kind of like almost a wishy-washy stance, which was interesting. And then, obviously it's creating this friction. I don't know if friction's the right word for Devin. And now the number of people who are, I don't know, like we're always talking about reputation and things like that. But the biggest point to discuss here isn't like, is Devin right or wrong? Is Chris, are we siding with inbox Karen or whatever? I think the biggest thing is, what's the line for, email subject lines where like we have one side of the spectrum, which is, God, you could just open any B2B email and it's like, let's disrupt the AI, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, delete, right? Versus something that is so almost shocking that it makes you open and read it up. What's the line there? Because I feel like we're going back to the situation of B2B saying, oh, it's so boring. But then someone does something. It's like, actually, no, not like that. I don't like that though.
First off, I think Inbox Karen could be a good newsletter name. It's not bad, I feel like.
Maybe our newsletter name for Notorious B2B.
Not bad. I think it's overdrawn. I think, okay, it was not that bad. Congrats. Mm-hmm. Now I hate you. What are we getting about here? Why are we so offended by that? What is going on here?
And what's funny is
way
like,
worse.
I would have, and I feel like now you and I have gotten into this cadence where we're sending each other stuff that we think is like worthy enough to cover. And I didn't even think about that subject line. Like I read it on Saturday. I skimmed through it. I was like, cool, whatever. But then I was like, oh, is it because I know him and I know his tone of voice? But also like one of the things that Chris claims in his video is your audience is smart enough to know that there's nuance in there, but that doesn't mean that the subject line, that you could just go for a subject line like that. And I was like, well, I mean, yeah.
It's all on brand. Like I feel like Devin would do that. If it was Liam, if he had I don't know if he has a newsletter, but if he did, I don't think that would make sense for him to put that subject line. He's more stoic. He's a stoic guy.
Yes.
Not a thing he would do.
Yes.
Fair.
That's fair.
That's his thing, right? It's not his thing, I guess. This makes sense to me. I would understand that Devin would put that. I think I don't even subscribe to his newsletter, but I think I saw that for some reason. Maybe I got added to it by accident. I did see that. I don't read newsletters, but I think I opened it because of it or something.
Yeah.
I was not offended. I actually think he should do more of those, because then he'll weed out who should not be in his. That's how you weed it out, right? That's how you weed out who's going to be, your tribe or whatever.
Exactly. I'm with you on that piece. Usually you and I are always trying to be devil's advocate and argue a little bit. It is very on brand for Devin. I also think that like it could have been way worse.
Yeah. You could do a lot worse.
You could do a lot worse. And maybe Devin actually has done a lot worse. There were some other posts where he's talked about like, oh, this created a strong reaction. But you and I were at Drive last year where Devin got up and kind of, gave one of his talks there. And we were laughing because he like swore incessantly, like every other sentence. And even Dave was like, hey, can you chill out on this? Right. But that's his jam. That's the brand. That's the vibe. And this wasn't even that bad. So there's the other camp that's like Chris is jumping on this to kind of capitalize on some of the controversy, like from thing. But I mean, obviously it didn't work. He got like,
yes, but to be fair, Devin posted it. He didn't have to do that. If he didn't want attention to it, he didn't have to post it on LinkedIn.
True.
No one was talking about it until he said something, right?
Yeah.
But if he wanted to post it because he felt like it needed to be a topic, fair enough. That's what he did. I don't think Chris was just kind of, I think Chris saw it as a topic and he wanted to talk about it. I don't think there's anything bad about that.
That's very nice of you to assume good intentions, unlike me.
I didn't watch the video, but if it was kind of wishy-washy, I would say I'm the same way.
Yeah.
But I would say you don't pick a side and then you get more attention on it. If you want more attention, pick a side, is what I say.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think it's that classic, like, you try to appeal to everybody. You start to dilute your messaging. You start to dilute your posts because you then start to sound like a freaking robot. But like the people who are standing out are doing the things that are a little bit different. And as we've seen, episode 5 now, right? Are we on 5? Or is this 6?
Oh, it's like,
I don't even.
Technically, it's like
technically, it's like we've had a lot of practice, and you would think we'd be like amazing at this by the stage, but
yeah, it's B2B.
But I think that's the whole point: is that not everybody's going to be for you. And Karen, inbox Karen, self-qualified, and it is what it is, right?
Look, I don't know who inbox Karen is. I just think it's funny that you see a lot of people say that B2B needs to be fun, test things, blah, blah, blah. But when you test things, you get backlash. Like, so pick a side, pick a side.
Pick a side.
And I want to, I want to know who this inbox Karen is. I want to see what she does and then figure out if she does anything bad that we can bash. That's how petty I am. I want to figure out what she does.
That's pretty petty.
If she ever talks about testing, done. She can't test again.
Should we ask Devin for a name?
No.
Last time we talked about our B2B, someone posted this huge thing about how is it considered spyware? Because in their terms and conditions, they kind of have hidden that they're going to integrate with your CRM, extract all your CRM data, push it back into Airbnb. But then you and I were kind of like, what company doesn't do that? So as homework, we went back and decided to look at similar companies and their terms of services. And so we came up with, how many are on here? 1, 2, 11, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12, including our B2B. So we're looking at companies like Bombora, Demandbase, Lead Forensics, ZoomInfo, Clearbit. This is basically ensuring that none of these companies ever sponsor us. Leadfeeder, Cogniz, Visitor Q, Triblio, Albacross, our B2B, and 6 Sense. And what I was looking for is, and I used to do a lot of these agreements. So you want to look at essentially these 2 components, which is how are they collecting data and how are they processing data? And then the third component, which is the CRM integration. But the super interesting thing is, I mean, half of these companies, especially the big ones, they all have integrations with CRMs, right? That's like you and I talked about
this.
That's
what you're doing.
Yeah. You want to know, not just independently.
You need the data.
Yeah. You want to understand it's either they have a direct line to your CRM or you are uploading a list and saying, here are the 100 companies I want to talk to. Well, they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure out that those 100 companies are on your, are in your CRM as well. However, not all of these companies talk about that in their terms of services or that they can integrate with the CRM. They don't explicitly talk about it at all, which then if you think about some companies who are like, I have 300 integrations, they're not going to list every integration in the terms of service.
A lot of times you connect them too. So like if you use a 6 Sense, you physically connect the CRM.
Yeah.
Like that's how, so it's probably like a thing like that. There's probably a loophole in that way as well.
Yeah.
Think about it. Cause like you're connecting it.
Yeah.
Like you're connecting it.
Yeah. So it's like you're kind of consenting to what that does by connecting it. But is the whole argument that our B2B was doing it automagically? And that's why?
That's the funny thing is you have to connect. And maybe this is, again, this could be way outside of our realm here, but you have to connect CRM. They don't just automatically know your login to your CRM.
Yeah, right.
You connect it, by the way.
You connect it.
So now I'm just thinking, now the whole thing's done. You connected it. They're not stealing your data. You connected it. You did it.
Yeah.
They don't know your passwords.
No, they don't.
Unless they do. And then that's a whole nother story. That'd be crazy. Maybe they got like a 1Password or a LastPass kind of connection.
Situation going. But I mean, I think you're right in the sense that if you're sitting there going, I'm going to connect this tool to my CRM, you kind of understand that there's going to be some passing of information. Like, I feel like that's
what else are you doing it for?
Yeah. What else are you doing it for? Exactly. What other possible use case could there be for you to connect it to your CRM?
I just think sometimes we got to take accountability. We just want to blame it on the platform, but it's like, all right, well, you kind of connected it, didn't you?
You connected it. And, unless you are kind of explicitly saying, I just want information from your platform passed into my CRM and not the other way around, which then that's shady in itself too. It's like, give me your data, but I'm not going to pass anything back to you to verify that. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels, it's very B2B to do this, I feel like.
I think it's just, what is everyone so scared about data for? What do you think people are doing it?
You know what's so funny is that my husband obviously is in data analytics and business intelligence. And
how's that obvious? You haven't talked about that.
No, not that part's obvious. But he says, he's like, honestly, all our stuff's already out there. If someone wanted to find everything out about Tim Davidson, they could go find out about Tim Davidson like right now.
Do you know how easy it is to Google someone and find their information? I don't think people understand that. Like it's so easy to find that.
Yeah, it's super easy. And so it's kind of like they're just doing that at scale.
All that stuff's online. I mean, I don't know if my grandma, she's older now. She gets those spam calls and they know my name. They'll be like, Tim Davidson was in a car crash. Oh, they'll say my cousin's name because they can find that stuff on the internet. It's so easy. Like, and she'll get caught by it because she doesn't know. But
wait, did this actually happen to her?
Yes, this happened twice.
Oh my gosh, what?
They said it for myself and then they did it for my cousin. They said my cousin's name. They're like, he was kidnapped or whatever. We need money.
What?
Yeah. Well, but that's the thing. It's all on the internet. They can find out who you are and who your siblings are, who your family is, where you live, your phone number. It's all online. There's not like what? Oh, close loss versus close won on the deal. Who cares?
Yeah.
Well, I guess Deal and Rippling do. So
yeah, they really care.
I backtrack a little bit. They do care about that.
They do really care about that. So anyway, I just wanted to circle back on that and just say that it's kind of wishy-washy.
What do you think's going to happen there? I feel like that CEO, I'm blanking his name. He's all over LinkedIn. He's been talking about, bad revenue trends and stuff. Like he's been kind of down on it. It's been weird. He's been saying like ARR is down or something.
Because the biggest problem, because he's very built in public. For anybody who doesn't know who Adam Robinson is, he is the CEO of our B2B. He's very, very active on LinkedIn. He coined this term, which is very controversial and everybody either supports him or doesn't support him on it. But he calls it inbound led outbound is what he calls it. But
it's like a phase.
It's not a phase. He still talks about it. You think he's not doing that anymore? Anyway,
I think all that stuff. Remember, there was like outbound led, inbound, and like event led, outbound marketingconnections.com or something.
I mean, so many weird things. But he's very known for building in public, being extremely honest about building in public and what's going on at his companies. And our B2B grew very, very fast. But his biggest problem currently is churn, and he can't stop the bleeding. So he's ramping up very fast, but he's having issues with churn. So I'm not really shocked that he's sharing that. He has shared that numerous times, but I think that's something that they're trying to figure out right now. And he does source a lot of feedback and advice from the community as well, as he and his partner Santosh or whatever.
I got some stuff that might be helpful for this.
You're going to help him with this churn problem?
No, I'm talking about. About a month, I think it was a month and a half ago, I signed up for a number of those website visitor tools. So like whether it's contact or company, I signed up for more, but some were like just annoying. Sign up for 6 of them, put it on my website so I could see who the companies are on my website. Not a lot of contact level, so I just did a company level. Here's my qualm. If I look, for a while I was looking at every single one, like, all right, who are the people that have been on my website? And every single provider has like different information. And so I'm getting annoyed because here's the data here. So the 6, the number of companies that all of them uncovered. So like you went on my website, all of them were in there. None of them had like one company that was across all of them.
Wow.
The number of unique companies from each of the 6, let's see here, of the ones gathered, all of them were less than 50%. Oh wait, so unique, no, more than 50%. The overlapping companies it's like 10%. What I'm trying to say is I don't know which one to trust because each of them are showing different companies on the website. Now, some of these I could verify, right? I had a sales call. I knew that company was on my website. Only like 1 or 2 of them had it and the other 4 didn't. I don't know what am I supposed to do with that data? I don't know which one's right if they're all showing different data.
Yeah.
Kind of annoying.
Yes. And this goes, I had a conversation with somebody else who shall not be named. Actually, he probably wouldn't mind being named. He wanted to actually be a guest on the show. So that'd be hilarious. We should have him sometime. But he was like, ultimately, how many of these companies are just selling snake oil with their proprietary technology, right. But it's all bullshit.
Well, that's the annoying thing, right? Like, because yes, for me, I'm just trying to gather data. But a lot of these people are saying, oh, okay, this company was on my website. Sales, go reach out.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? It's a content.
Yes.
And like, so one of the 6 had uncovered like 111 companies within a week. Of the 111, only 18 were in the others. Like, I'm just not understanding which one to trust here. So like, do I have to get them all? Is there one that's good when it's bad? Which ones are like just false? Which ones are not? Like, why does one have 111 uncovered? One has 56 uncovered, but I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to do.
And they all have the little scapegoat of, well, we only have 40% match accuracy. And that's really good for the industry. That's what I've been told.
I think that's a lie.
You think you think 40%?
How do you fact check that? You can't track who's on your website unless.
But they're saying
tools.
that they could identify 40% of your traffic.
Right, but how do you fact check that?
Yeah, no one.
I give you 100 companies. I give you 40 of them. How do you know that these 20 that I gave you were actually on your website, or did I just pull them out of my armpit?
Armpits?
PG.
What? Our episodes are marked explicit. You don't have to say armpit. You can talk about other body parts.
I would go on a number of these, and some of them didn't have B2B Riz, which is me going on my own website.
Yeah.
That'd be the easiest one to track, right? Like that, right? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah. In GA4, you should be able to track internal traffic too. So like that should be table stakes for these companies to identify the internal employees of a company. I mean, you're in the ABM space, so I'm not going to say.
I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm like, who do I trust?
It shouldn't even be a question though, right? Like,
it has to be a question.
I mean, how much are companies paying for a tool like this? Not our B2B, because they have a different pricing structure. But when we're talking about the big ABM platforms that also do website identification, I mean, I was paying 50, 60 grand a year for those tools.
Well, they do more than just the website.
Yeah, they do. Yeah, they run display advertising. So there's just another way for them to eat my money. Great. I just never liked it as
Well, I think it all tracks back to like people being weird about their data. Here's the honest truth. No one knows the data. They can't get the data. Everyone's wrong. All the data's wrong. I'm sorry, but it is. Most of it. 40%, I guess.
It's wrong. But also how much of it is inhibited by laws? I feel like we would be able to have a lot higher accuracy if there weren't things like consent and privacy laws and things like that. Yeah, the cookie pop-up, because that's going to eliminate a lot of people. You know, I mean, how many websites do you go to and you never accept all? And
I do, because the pop-up's annoying. I just want it on my face.
And then, you know, you have tiers of different cookies. And so if you accept all, then it would fire the marketing ones. But if you only do like accept necessary, it will only run the scripts that are able to let the website function. And that's it. It can't even run GA on there.
I say we just get rid of cookies.
That's fine. Just get rid of the laws. It's all good.
No, get rid of the cookies. I say, do you though?
No, I guess.
Back to vibe marketing. Let's go back to vibe marketing.
I think we're moving in that direction in general as an industry. You know, porn stars and such. Provocative email subject lines.
It's provocative.
Okay, this is my consensus. If our B2B is spyware, so are all of these other companies that are integrating with your CRM.
Yeah, I really just think it's their own fault, obviously, but they only get the backlash because Ed Robinson's so out there.
Public. And so maybe marketers will read terms of services a little bit closer.
Yeah, right.
Read terms of services. So maybe our B2B just has to be a little more explicit about that, but then every company needs to do that too then.
We'll see.
It's not
Nothing's going to happen.
Now, let's go to the noodle. We have a lot of things to noodle on that we've had for a little while now. Okay.
A little noodle sesh.
But the biggest buzz this week is Exit 5 having
such a small world.
That I know, right?
Biggest buzz.
It is the biggest buzz because you know why? People actually think I work there. I got nine text messages on Monday. And one person even asked me for hotel accommodations. I'm like, hi, don't work for them. Landing page probably has some stuff. Link. I really should.
For hotels, I mean.
Oh, I'm talking about Exit 5. I'm like, they need to give me an affiliate link.
No, you're not getting anything of that. But if they book the hotel, you can get a kickback right there.
Yeah.
Expedia takes like 25%. You should do that.
Vermont's the place you want to do an Airbnb though.
And you want to do it early. I mean, I'm looking at flights now.
Oh, you are?
I had to take a train last time.
What?
Where I live, it's a smaller city. So it would have took me like 8 hours to get there, but train took me 6 hours. 8-hour plane.
Your alternative was to be like to drive?
No, I'm not driving. I drive.
Oh, yeah.
But a plane would have took me 8 hours to get there. A train took me 6 hours.
Insane. And what about a flight? What would a flight have got?
Plane would have been 8 hours.
8 hours for the plane?
Because I live in a small city, so it would have been, and Vermont's not the biggest city in the world. The airport's not huge. So I have to like go to like New York City and then go back.
The hassle. Yeah.
Or Ohio. Ugh.
Shut up. The trains
Train sucked.
That's interesting. I was like, oh, I would totally ride a train, read a book.
No, the train's not bad, but yeah, no, like Europe trains are great. Not around here. Not in the world. Not in the US. Train. No, our crap.
Okay. All right. Interesting. I did not know that you took a train last time.
Yeah. Sucked.
Anything to get to drive. So anyway, speaking of anything to get to drive, it's a 220 person event, and they had their first one last year, and people compared it to summer camp, but for B2B marketers. It was very chill. That's the vibe now. Spring was the same way. 200 people, in this like warehouse type thing in the scorching heat. Oh my God.
I thought it was great. The heat.
Yeah. Oh, the heat was great.
Yeah. Oh, wait. I came from 30 degrees.
Me too.
Yeah,
it was too much for me. And I'm tropical by nature, and that was just too much from between. Yeah.
Look at my shirt. You're not tropical.
You were making fun of me for my outfit earlier. You, the guy with the flower shirt.
I did not make fun. Okay. I said bougie. I didn't say make fun.
Fine. You're right. Okay. So anyway, some of the feedback that they got from the event last year was that the in-house people were saying that there were too many consultants and freelancers there.
Wait, is this true or is this assumptions?
No, I think that's some of the feedback that they did get.
I didn't think there was that many consultants there.
I didn't think so either, but also like we're really paying attention.
Yeah, I'm not tailoring it.
Yeah, I'm not like, there's 10 or whatever. I mean, in the groups that I was hanging out in, they were obviously skewing higher on the consultants than they were in-house. But Five's in a little bit of a pickle because it's a community situation. They have limited seats. And they have the in-house people that they want to make happy, but they don't want to anger necessarily members of the community who are consultants. But they also have sponsors that they probably need to answer to. And sponsors aren't going to sponsor an event to sell to people who aren't going to buy from them, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Yeah. So I'm trying to marry both the like, what's it like to be an applicant and what's it like to be them in there trying to figure all this stuff out. And so this year they did do an application process for tickets to screen people coming in.
Yeah, they make like a presentation. That was crazy.
And make sure that it was going to be, that they could keep the quality high. Another piece of feedback unrelated to any of this that the Exit 5 team told me too was that last year there were people who were like buying a bunch of tickets in bulk and then demanding refunds if they couldn't fulfill them, things like that. So they had some shady people in there. So yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where, again, what's the right way to approach this? So when people are complaining about the application process, which was a huge emotional roller coaster for me and for many others, but the other piece is, how else would they have solved some of those problems if not through applications?
Yeah, I mean, it was annoying to submit a cover letter, but so as a consultant, it's annoying.
Yeah.
But if the roles reverse, I get it. Like, you do not want people going there pitching them. Now, I'm terrible at sales, so I'll never do it. I know you wouldn't. You're not going there to pitch people, but there are some people that do.
Yes.
There are some people that do, and it's very annoying. I'm not the only one that's experienced this. Spring does something like that. Not like application process, but it's more expensive for a consultant. Yeah. Same with a few others.
And not just a little more expensive. Let's talk about how much
it's
more
like double.
Expensive. Yeah.
Double or triple. A few other events. I know B2B would do that too. Not just consultants, like agencies, consultants, pretty much anyone that's not in-house. Yeah, I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. They have a very limited thing. That's the thing. Other thing, right? It's 220. They sell out fast. They got a big audience. I think it's great. I actually have no problem with it. Yeah. I know there was some people that kind of like get weird about it, but it's just.
Do you think we don't have a problem with it because we got in?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
If we didn't get in, we'd be like, fuck the application. I think.
Yeah, I mean, probably.
While people are waiting for applications, I know a handful of people who got approved and almost got approved right away. And then I have this other handful of people who are waiting to get approved. This is creating a little bit of an issue because what is happening is they're like, wait, why did that person get approved so quickly and I didn't? And then it makes you, it's like getting picked, to play on a team and you're getting picked. Again. Yeah. And it's like, okay, we have all these people on the bench, but let's just see if anyone better comes along before we bring these people into the game. Right. And so some people are feeling like, hey, I've been an Exit 5 member since the beginning. And And they're turning their back on me when I've been a day one. Oh, just because I'm a consultant, now I'm like shunned, even though I pay for the community. There are people who are telling me, if my application's not approved, I'm killing my membership. I'm not coming back.
Oh,
yeah.
Really?
Yes. I got 2 of those texts yesterday. Like, if I'm not approved, I'm like getting rid of my membership. I'm done. I don't like it.
Oh, interesting.
Yes. Yeah. So I got a lot of that kind of feedback, which again, because people think I work there, I get like, I'm like, I will take it to my boss. Thank you. I will let Dave know in the Slack channel that I am not part of. But so that was really interesting to me. And then the other piece that I thought about was last year, there were 7 people of color who attended out of 220 people that they had at the venue. And last year was a first come, first serve. They were kind of testing whether this event was going to work. People bought it really fast. They sold within a week. Now you're screening applicants. It's gonna get dicey.
They didn't ask for your race, though.
Nope, they did not.
But they got their LinkedIn profile.
How are they vetting people? Because if they're, I don't know how.
Do you know that? Are you saying this might be true, or do you know this?
What?
That there might be also like a DEI type of thing to it.
No, this is me as a person who is a woman and a minority saying it's going to get dicey if you're screening people and then suddenly you have a very small minority of people at this event. And then they're like, wait, I thought you screened applicants and you didn't have a lot of diversity at play here. And so I think it's something they're not thinking about. I haven't talked to that team about it yet. I'm pretty close to some of the members and probably should text them and be like, how are you accounting for the DI thing? Because that's definitely going to be a thing that someone is going to bring up. Because in the application,
because you made the process. If you didn't make the process, it's different, right?
Yes, it's different. Then it's like, we can't control that. We can't control that there were only 7 POCs that showed up last year. So, but this year they have triple the demand. So how are they going to do that? Because are they screening, from what I heard, they have rough criteria of people that they kind of want there. They've never done this before, so they're just trying to figure it out. So they're probably going to learn this very quickly. And then I'm assuming that they're going to check LinkedIn profiles to make sure that the person is legitimate, et cetera, et cetera. And then are they accounting for the diversity factor? I don't know.
I don't think that's what, I don't know.
Yes, we don't know.
I think it is more about the consultant versus in-house.
Yes.
I wonder if this is why the other ones just do a higher price.
Yes, but it was funny because Pep with Spring, he had sent out a survey after Spring was done. He made everybody fill it out. And then he sent an email, which I thought was amazing. He sent an email to every single person who attended and said, hey, from our survey results, here are the points of feedback that we got. Some of it, he was like, I don't know how to solve for this. Do you guys have any ideas? Like, I'm willing to hear them. But some of the feedback he got, even with that price being double, there were a lot of consultants, a lot of people pitching, and he got complaints from in-house people that there were too many consultants there. And he doesn't know how to solve for that problem other than hiking the price up or doing like an application process, which again, then gets dicey. I could see Pep totally doing an application process and then like just blatantly getting rid of people.
Yeah, he cares.
He does not. He does not care. I think E5, because they're very centered around community, it's going to be really hard for them to get away with
the membership part. That's the tricky part, right? Like I'm a member, but then you're like putting me on the back end here.
Yes.
I think that does make it very tricky.
And I got a lot of that feedback too yesterday where it's like, dude, I've been here since you were a Facebook group and you're going to put me on hold while you approve X CMO, whatever. So I don't know what the criteria is. It is going to be kind of a tricky situation. One person even said, related to Spring's higher price, it's like, I don't think they're thinking about it from the other angle, which is if a consultant does pay double than someone else coming in there and they have to, like in their head, justify the cost of this event, why wouldn't they go there and shoot their shot and pitch?
Yeah, that's true.
You're going to shoot your shot because you spent $3,000 to go to the event.
That's so true.
So
it's not a good situation.
No, it's not a good situation. I don't know how, I love the intimate events thing with B2B and it's obviously doing really well. But how do you do this? Because now Dave's thing is next year we'll have a bigger venue where we can have 500 to 600 people. I mean, it's only a matter of time before it becomes the 1,000-person booths, HubSpot. Like we're just making a full circle.
You got to pay for it, right? And how do you do that? You get the booths.
You get the booths.
Sponsors.
You get the sponsors. It's coming full circle. That's probably how B2B started in the days of yore. We all started with small events. Like how many B2B marketers could there be? And then it started expanding and it became the Dreamforces and Inbounds of the world.
Because as they get bigger, there's more prey. So more consultants, more sales folks.
Yeah.
Can't win.
Dang.
Can't win.
No.
Events, dead. Events are dead.
We're going to go back to old events.
To be honest, it sucks. I side with them on picking in-house marketers, but
yeah, it's a business decision.
I get it. Like I understand that fully. It sucks for us if they did decide to do only in-house marketers, but I think it's fair. I actually think it's fair. I'd revolt for sure, burn it down, but no, I wouldn't. I don't care.
I mean, I think that's what they're going to end up doing is this like segmentation, segregation thing. So they're going to end up having to have, maybe that's like a strong word.
That was bad.
I'm just really sensitive. I'm very sensitive to that, obviously. But I feel like it's going to be a situation because they already have this like the CMO club within Exit 5. So they have that new tier that they've added and it's only CMOs. So they'll have an only CMO event. I can totally see that happening. I could see him also saying, okay, let's do an only consultants event. Also,
that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
No one's going to do that.
You don't think anyone's going to have just a consultants event?
I don't want to just go talk to consultants. Like I like that group in it, but I like also other people in the in-house. I don't pitch, by the way. It's just more about, I don't know, it's a different crew.
It's a different crew. So yeah, I don't know what they're going to end up doing. It might even be in the future where they have a purely in-house event. Like you have to be in-house at a company. I don't know. I don't know how you solve it. I don't think it's straight. I don't think it's straightforward, but it's like you can't have just a CMO's event, just an in-house event, and then not have a consultant event when a big part of your community are consultants and agencies.
Pavilion does that. That's what Pavilion does. They do a CMO event. They do a CRO event.
But do they do...
They don't do consultant only.
But do they do in-house only? That's the one I'm saying. If you do only in-house
right,
versus then you have to do the consultants.
Well, once they do that, then we kind of just like talk to some friends and be like, hey, can I work for your company for a little bit? And then, get that in-house title.
We're going to lie and try to figure out a way to
just change the
in. Cheat the system.
I've done that. I've changed my LinkedIn profile a little bit for some of these events.
What?
Yeah. One of the Pavilion ones, you had to be like a like a VP and above. I was a director title. I changed my title.
Is that why yours says VP of marketing at B2B Risk?
No, this is when I was at directive. I was a director title. Had to be a VP and above to go. And I switched my title.
Wow.
Got in.
Wow. Worked. You heard it here first. Don't be truthful in B2B.
Not to say, well, here's what's funny. A couple people at the event were like, hey, I saw you got a promotion. I was like, nope.
Nope. I would have just owned it. I would have been like, thank you. Thanks.
I switched it back.
So applications, still not a whole bunch of people let in. So TBD, I'm sure the team will post how many tickets they have left or if they fulfill everybody. So we'll see.
I wonder how much of it is though that some of the consultants ruin it for the rest because we got in 100%. Very fast because they know we don't pitch.
Yeah.
You're better at sales than me, but I'm literally just the worst at sales. Like I will not pitch.
No, I don't go to sell at all. It was funny because someone on the Exit 5 team even asked me like, hey, if you want to speak, like, let me know. I have some, influence in here. And I said, this was a while ago. Well, it's all, the speaker list is all done. And I said, no, because Drive is kind of like my summer camp / like fuck around conference. I don't want to spend any part of it being nervous and like, what am I going to say? Blah, blah, blah. I feel like I'm good. Like I'm going to hang out.
Last time I spoke at an event, the whole day, I was just worried about this.
Yeah, that's all you're doing. You're thinking about that nonstop. And then unless you're the first or second to go and then you can enjoy the event. But like, I can't be like, hey, I want to speak and put me up first. They're going to be like, no, nice try.
You are not the opener.
Yeah, exactly.
No shot in your keynote.
So I feel like it's just not the one that I would want to talk at anyway.
But what were we saying before that?
About pitching. They know that we're not going to pitch.
They know we're not going to pitch. So I wonder if there's part of that. Like there's some consultants that and I get it. Like, you got to pitch. People are salespeople, but I think they ruin it for everyone.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I see both sides, right? You're going to pay your money to go there. Like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
You got to do something.
I mean, especially if you work for a company that's like, what's the ROI? Like a consultant probably doesn't have that. But an agent, I feel like, would do that.
Yeah, if you work for an agency, they're going to ask,
Wait, do you think some in-house people were pitching and the person on the receiving end was like, oh, there's people pitching me, and then I've seen that. They're thinking that it's the consultant that's doing it? but it's actually the in-house people doing it to each other.
I think the difference between Spring and I saw this, like we were at a table, it was basically like all consultants except for one in-house marketer. And so like when the question comes up, like, oh, what do you like, what's working? But like we have way different thought processes because I'm niche within one thing, you're niche within one thing.
Yeah.
And my marketing for my one person company is going to be different than the in-house marketer at freaking Cisco, right? It's a completely different game and thought process there.
But in the one group I was in at Spring, one of the better groups was where we had 2 heads of marketing at the table. And then there were 4 consultants, like a couple of them were like agencies, but there were a couple of consultants, couple of agencies, 2 heads of marketing in-house at companies. And they were the heads of marketing were kind of asking us questions about like, what have you seen here? What have other companies done? What did you do when you were in-house? Or how do I handle this? And they were furiously taking notes down based on what we were saying. And it's funny because Pep had put that poll out asking, who do you want to learn most from? Marketing leaders, ICs, consultants. And it was overwhelmingly consultants, which was hilarious. Yet we are the ones that aren't wanted in that area. And speaking of, also the other piece of feedback I got is, look at the speaker list. Most of them are consultants and own their own company, but it's like, yeah, we don't want the consultants to attend though.
But that's a natural progression. When you're a good individual contributor, a CMO, whatever, you see what can happen if you go on your own. Yeah. You make a bunch more money. Like,
much more money.
This is what happens, right? Like Devin Reed, great. He was great at those in-house and then he went on his own. Now he's making taglines that people hate. So, or, whatever.
Subject
lines.
Yeah.
It's just a natural progression. And then you got to like backfill it with in-house marketers that don't speak that much because they just don't. I mean, all the good ones go out on their own.
Yep. Okay. Hey, real quick, speaking of in-house, out-house, all of this stuff, do you think it'll be a problem in the future? Because apparently AI can replace your entire marketing team.
Yeah, we're all screwed.
Okay. I'm talking about this post, which we're going to share. If it comes up, if the guy still has it on there, I'm sure he does.
Oh, he better.
I'm so sure. So Tim sent me this post a while ago. Do you want to read it? This is your thing. You do it.
So to start off, it was a comment engagement post. So it already knew something bad was going to happen here. But it basically starts off with, this AI replaces your $200K a year marketing team. What used to take about 100 plus hours in full team now takes 10 seconds. He goes on, talks about the content hamster wheel. And then here's his kind of AI that he built out, this kind of workflow that allows you to basically create scripts for videos. By the way, he says viral ready content scripts for your brand. And he's been doing it for 3 months. The results, 30K in content driven revenue, 10K or 10X content output, and fully automated, no bottlenecks, no content teams. Basically, so this is how it works. Scrapes viral short form videos in your niche, analyzes real audience comments, and then auto-generates a ready-to-use content blueprint for viral hooks, kind of emotional triggers, blah, 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 blah. And then, you want to access, connect with me, blah, blah, blah. There's a video of it. It basically is like some AI that creates a bunch of content ideas, viral hooks, content scripts, things like that. So,
I mean, when you sent this to me, it didn't have the number. It is
7,896 comments. Like it is taken off.
That is I don't think I've ever seen that many comments on a post. That is insane.
But the reason I commented is because I had a question. Who is paying someone $200,000 a year to create scripts for videos that someone else still has to create and like film and edit and all that stuff?
Yeah.
These claims, and this is obviously just one post, these claims of what they're going to replace are fucking ridiculous. This is craziness. $200K a year marketing team to create scripts. I will do that for $100K right now.
Is this a person that even understands what marketing is? Because
he's scaling businesses with AI and automation. Business. Yeah. By the way, save $40K a month on Boost Ad. I don't even know what that means.
Yeah. And boost valuation.
Sounds like an AI person. So yeah, that's his business. Instig 8 AI, scaling businesses with AI and automation. Yeah. So the claim though is it's just annoying in my opinion. Like I think this stuff is just annoying. I get it. It's kind of, I think I've done this. Like he comment gates the same exact thing over and over again.
Over and over again.
Yeah, look at it. That's the same exact video. So you're scrolling through his posts, same exact video, different headline now, probably because my comment. But he just gating it again.
Yeah. He looks like he's giving away a lot of like little bits and pieces of it maybe too.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, that's insane. I mean, he's obviously growing because of it. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the thing is like you have these different areas of LinkedIn. You have like the B2B marketers who are writing and they just don't format anything. And then you have to read this entire blog post that's on your feed and you're like, I don't have time for this. Then you have this other side of LinkedIn, which is the content creators who are like the carousel guys that you talked about that are like just carousel. And then you have these guys who are like gated content nonstop. And it's like the same stuff and comment for this and like doing these tactics. But we talked about it already. It's annoying because it does work and therefore they keep doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that they're doing it. It's just so annoying how they see it work once. Great. Awesome. Love it. But then they use the same exact content over and over again. It's just like I don't know what to say anymore. And
your comment, because he says your 200K a year marketing team, which like, how big is that marketing team? It can't be, it's like 2-person team.
Well, look, like a CMO, even director, it might be 200K a year. Fair enough.
Yeah. And then, and so you're right where like, okay, you can come up with a plan. Who the hell is executing this?
You still have someone, you have to still record it. You have to edit it. You still have to have someone comfortable on camera. So if you're paying 200K, if that's the truth, I want that job to research topics and write video scripts. I will do that. Right now, hire me. I'm serious. Like, I think it's just, then also in the post, it said it brought 30K in value. Where's the delta here? Yeah. Where's the 200K to 30K delta?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Like, what's the person with 200K? Like, what were they actually bringing in? And then your 30 grand that it's making, how much are you actually sacrificing?
I think it's just one of those like...
fake math, the fake math. B2B math. That's not, I guess that is technically B2B. Okay, moving on to then, speaking of B2B and them doing their shady usual stuff, also have this and we're seeing this a lot. Someone just talked to me about this even yesterday. And this guy I don't know if he still works there now, but he said 3 months ago, I interviewed with the dream company, but didn't get the gig. Today, I saw my copy and positioning on their website. Yeesh. Here's what happened. I went through a pretty grueling application process at this 1,000+ person company. I spoke to the head of product, the CMO, and sales lead for the new product line that I would be working on. I did deep research to determine their ICP. Then I developed full positioning, messaging, and go-to-market plans. The take home was to, I'm assuming, create the go-to-market plan for the product that they were launching soon, not something adjacent or from the past, but live work that they'd be doing. They were in reality crowdsourcing narratives. Hint, don't do this. Use a past business problem or something adjacent to give you the same insight. I easily spent about 20 hours on the work. And yes, that's a boatload of time, but I really love this company and it felt worth it. Then I get the rejection email. They went with someone more creative. I knew this risk existed. I would do the work. They wouldn't hire me. And then they'd use my content. A part of me wanted to include a little note saying it was my legal property, but I didn't want to start the relationship on the wrong foot. Here's the thing. It's a shitty feeling, but we move on. In all likelihood, the exec team might have just subconsciously thought of it because it was damn good copy. Oh, humble brag. It isn't usually malicious. It is a massive compliment. So the question is, can I take their logo as a past client just like they took my messaging? Actually, that's a really good question. But I just want to talk about the aspect of this. Like, the market is crazy. People are trying, it's like super competitive to get any position. And I keep hearing about this. You're going to do this project to prove your worthiness, even though you have all this background and you could even have a portfolio and you could, have us walk through a past example of your work. They're making marketers do work and then telling them to fuck off after that, but then using the work.
I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. The unfortunate part though is right now companies have the leverage and people are going to continue to do this stuff for free. And so they will keep doing it. I mean, there's no like, if we all decided, and not everyone's going to decide to do that, because if you're looking for a company, especially if you're laid off, like you have no job.
Yeah. You have no leverage.
Unfortunately, you are technically desperate, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of people are like 9 months in with no job.
Yeah.
Unemployment doesn't pay much.
No.
Right. You have families, you have all this stuff. Like you're almost kind of desperate. So you're going to do what you can. You're going to go above and beyond to get that job.
Yeah.
I don't know if companies do this purposely. I don't know if they do it. I don't think they do it purposely. Maybe they do. But I just think if people are going to keep doing it, and I get it, I've been there, I've done that type of stuff, they're going to keep doing it. They have options. If 5 people are going to do that, why not do it to find the right person? That's if they're lying, by the way. If they said they went with someone else and they didn't, and the whole ploy was crowdsourcing ideas,
yes,
that's different.
Yeah.
But if they had the intention of hiring someone, they went with someone else, then, you know.
But you'd also never know. That's one.
Yeah,
and then the second piece is there's a different way to ask them to do kind of the same thing. So like this person said, you could come up with like a past problem, like, hey, like if it was Hockey Stack launched like Odin or what. I'm just using them as an example because it came to my mind. But they had already no free plugs, but they had already launched like Odin or whatever, the AI assistant. But if they went and they said, okay, you obviously have seen a lot of our posts and stuff about this. How would you have done it? What would your plan have been? Like they obviously went a different way and launched it differently. How would you do it? Or like a hypothetical, kind of situation. And so there are different ways to do that. Or have you done one before? Yes. Walk through the steps of how you did it. That could still, someone who's lying about that would not have any idea how to talk about how they did a product launch.
I agree.
That they didn't do.
But if the company...
I mean, if you're desperate enough, you're going to do it. But I'm saying these companies are clearly taking advantage of free work.
And to be honest, why not? I'm not saying it's right, but like if you have a product launch coming up and you are, and let's just say you are hiring, like you are hiring a VP of marketing or head of marketing, right? And you have a product launch coming up. Why not make the task that they're going to do anyway? If these people are already going to do it, why not make it be something where you can get multiple ideas from 5 different people?
Yeah.
And then actually hire someone? That's fair. Like I actually get that. I think that's okay. Like when else, like why not do that?
Yeah.
Right. Like they're going to do work. If they're going to spend 20 hours already, why not do it on something that could give you better ideas? Now, if they just did that with the ploy of let's just get the narrative, let's get these free content, let's get these ideas, and then never hire anyone, that's different, right? That's really just scummy. Yes. But if you're going to make someone work 20 hours on something, why not get something out of it?
Right. And I do think it's fair that he can use their logo then if they're going to use his positioning.
That too.
Tit for tat. I'll add one more layer to this and then we'll end on that note because I think we've been going for like an hour and 15.
Well, we could push back too though, right? Like you could, if you want, you could push back and be like,
yeah, but then then it's the classic, you're not a team player. Hey, sorry, whatever. And then you're out.
That's on you.
Totally,
like what?
Totally.
Then that's, but if you maybe they want the pushback though. Maybe they want someone that's going to give you a little bit of a nudge here, you know?
Nobody wants that.
I want a nudge.
Maybe us, but there's no way. There's no way. They always say that they want a challenger and all of these things in-house. They say it because they think it's the right thing to say. But when push comes to shove, if you're actually someone who challenges the status quo, they don't like it. Not like that. Not like that. See, challenge, but do it within my terms, right? B2B is boring. Make it exciting, but not like that, right? That's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I'll add the other layer, which is what if it was a paid project?
They won't do that.
There are people who are paying for projects. They're paying for time to do projects. If that's the case and they've paid you, can they use it?
Yeah, why not?
Would you sign a contract? Like if someone said, I will pay you $5,000 to do this work and you were like, okay, cool. I'll take it. Okay. I'll do it. Would you be like, okay, let's do a contract as in like, how would this work be used?
There's no shot anyone's going to. So in that example, contract? If there was 5 people applying, there's no shot they're dishing out $25,000. There's just no shot, right?
Okay.
Like, there's no
That's
chance
fair.
they'll do that. But that's the thing, right? They have the leverage. If people are going to do it for free,
let them do it for free.
Let them do it for free.
Oh my God.
You could make it a different, right? Like you could say, if we hire you, we'll give you an extra. I don't even know why that would make sense, but we would give you, if like you hire you, we'll give you some whatever.
For the idea.
But maybe not make it 20 hours. Maybe, well, which is funny too, because they give you like a project and then like, don't work any more than 5 hours, but it's like a 20-hour project.
Right.
I'm not saying it's right, but like, again, if people are going to do it, then call them out on LinkedIn then. I mean, why not do that?
Yeah.
If you're going to fight back, right?
Like this dude.
But he didn't call him out.
Oh, he didn't call the company out.
Right? If you're going to fight back.
Fully.
Because also like thinking about getting approved for money to give to people, that's probably like another 30-month project that the hiring manager is not going to do.
I mean, do you think that there's like even a question here because it isn't a tangible thing? Like when it comes to market, it's like, here's a marketing and there's like, here's a go-to-market plan. But the same thing happened to my girlfriend who is a designer at a company that shall not be named, a big company. And then another company approached, well, because I don't want to get her into trouble. Another company approached her and she's a clothing designer. So they wanted her to put together like a full catalog for like the season, the upcoming season, and like do the designs for that. So she was like
part of the hiring?
Yes. So she was talking to me about that. And this company that reached out to her is a small kind of more startup. And she works for a very established big retail company. So in my mind, when she told me that, I'm like, oh, they're totally trying to get someone at this company to design their collection for this small rinky-dink operation. But they were trying to lure her in with like, oh, it's going to be fully remote and all these benefits. And like, it's very minimal travel, trying to get her to do that stuff. And so she kind of didn't feel great about it, but she just took one of her past projects and kind of revamped it a little bit and gave it to them. Then she stepped out of the process because of, it was just seeming a little bit shady. Fall comes around. What did they launch with?
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that's the answer. Maybe you put so for this guy or, your friend, maybe they have like an NDA or something or some sort of contract. That says, you can't use this work unless you pay me.
Yeah. Or you hire me.
Yeah. Or you hire me.
Yeah.
Will they sign it?
No.
Probably not.
No.
But it's a try, I guess.
It's a way to set a
watermark
boundary
on it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, even if you put a watermark on it, it's like, this is IP stuff. They could just run with it. What watermark is going to save you?
If I were her, I would have posted it publicly so that like...
She's way too nice.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
If I would have posted it publicly, be like, let it be known.
Yeah. I did this.
Here's the dates. And then you'll go viral.
But see, they know that she's not going to do that because she doesn't want to jeopize her job at her existing company.
So right.
So it's smart.
No, these companies.
Yeah, it's sly.
Just wait. Tides will turn. We will have the leverage. The employees.
When AI doesn't replace marketing teams,
we will have the leverage at some point.
When
it will happen. Tariffs, maybe.
You know what? It is tariffs are really impacting retail right now. But yeah.
It will happen. We will get the tides turned, and then we will make them do work for us to get the job.
Like back in the day.
What?
Interesting. Back in the day, we had leverage. And it wasn't like a competitive market. It was a normal market.
It was speed. I think it was more speed. Like
we could just get jobs.
Speed. I think it was more hiring speed too. So you didn't want to wait 20 hours for someone to finish a project.
Yeah. You just like,
and you had multiple options, right? You can go to Microsoft, Google, freaking Schmoogle and Dougal.
Schmoogle.
And Hooli. You go all of them.
Yeah. All right.
One day. We'll make a comeback.
With that, our doomsday marketing. We'll end on that note. State of B2B. Still rough.
It's awesome though. Don't get it.
I mean, we love it.
It's the best.
I went for a walk with my husband and he's like, I'm just not passionate about the stuff like you are. And I'm like, I'm not passionate about B2B marketing. He's like, you literally have a show now because all you want to do is just talk about it. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm done with this conversation. I don't want to be wrong. So
it's because he's in data. Ooh,
data. Cool. I know. He wishes. Okay.
Data is cool.
All right. See you next week.
Peace up.
Peace up, A-Town. Later, skater. And that's a wrap on Notorious B2B, where we expose the nonsense and remind you that most B2B marketing is just a very expensive guessing game.
Don't, and post a passive-aggressive LinkedIn poll about it. We'll still find you.
And if you have B2B drama we should cover, slide into our DMs. We accept screenshots, leaked internal memos, and questionable brand rebrands.
Until next time, keep your marketing unhinged and your LinkedIn bio free of the words growth hacker. See you later.
Later, skater.